wish I had my wishes. I wish for righteous visions. I wish for 100-gallon tanks full of tropical fishes. I wish I had cigars. I wish I lived on Mars. I wish I had a convertible, cause bitches like them cars.
What is up, my wizards? Dev back again from SBMTG. I've actually got a deck tech for you this time instead of Origin spoilers. Feels like it's been forever. Like, years ago now, I promised you a modern deck, which I never do that, but I wanted to branch out a little bit. So this is Budget Modern Soul Sisters, which is just like the coolest name for a deck ever. Now this will cost you less than $25 to make and take up to your Modern FNM, which happens up here once a month. I don't know if your card shop does that, but we do it at a couple of places up here, and Modern is fun when you get to play it, but it's really expensive. So try something out like this, see how you do. Let's give it a shot. We're playing 8 Soul Wardens, pretty much. We're playing 4 Soul Wardens and 4 Soul's Attendants. I think Soul's Attendant is, it's technically strictly better. You may gain a life, so, if it will be bad to gain a life, you don't have to with Attendant. But Warden is the more classic nostalgic creature. So, in any case, yeah, we need basically 8 copies of this thing in the deck to get the deck to do what it does. And luckily, they're fairly cheap. So that's good. Let's play 4 copies of Suture Priest in this deck. Some of these play 3. I like 4 copies. That drain whenever a creature comes into play is it's really good. So I'm definitely playing the full 4 of these, and it's another copy of Soul Warden, all things considered, for the most part. So love Suture Priest. We're going to do it. It's such creepy, awesome artwork, too. 4 copies of Whitemane Lion. I really don't need any explanation here. Most of the budget Soul Sisters decks do play Whitemane for obvious reasons. Saves your creatures from removal, and you get to play them again and gain a bunch of life. So, Whitemane Lion, ladies and gentlemen, that's what it does. I'm still doing it. 4 copies of a creature you knew you'd eventually see in this. This is Ajani's Pridemate. We can still play this in Standard, by the way, but in any case, Ajani's Pridemate will get huge over the course of the game, especially if you protect it well, and can eventually swing for lethal. For the most part, this is going to be the guy that wins you the game. So definitely want to play it, all the copies of this that we possibly can. Ajani's Pridemate can get huge if left unchecked. And let's finish off the creatures. Let's play 3 copies of Mentor of the Meek. Now, obviously, we can't play Ranger of Eos in this deck, because that card's very expensive. Well, for budget builds, it's pretty expensive. So this is a pretty good replacement. We will be playing a lot of creatures. Love to draw the cards. Obviously, we can chain a lot off of that. If we play a creature, draw a card, draw a creature, play that creature, draw a card. So this can get a little out of hand. It's no Ranger of Eos. The card is really, really good. But yeah, this is definitely also awesome, it turns out. Mentor of the Meek is a great budget option, because, I'm pretty sure that Ranger of Eos is like $12 right now. This is only like 50 cents. So give it a shot. I think it's a decent replacement. Now on to the spells. Let's play 4 copies of Condemn. Obviously, if you have Path to Exile, just play Path to Exile. That's better. But again, as a budget replacement, this card costs way less. And we don't necessarily want them gaining life, but we're in a battle. We're sort of aiming for attrition here. So them gaining the life isn't horrible. Worse things could happen. But if you have your Path to Exiles already, definitely play those instead. But Condemn is still good. There's 4 copies of Brave the Elements. This can enable, huge swings all at once. It can protect your whole team for the most part. So Brave the Elements is sort of a must in this deck. I considered like God's Willing or even Ajani's Presence, a couple of other things in this deck, like Rebuff the Wicked, I think it's called. I considered those things, but all in all, definitely Brave the Elements is if we have to play one card like this, it's Brave the Elements. And this, again, can enable lethal swings very late in the game, which is pretty important for us. 4 copies of Honor of the Pure. Again, this really helps us out, especially once we get multiple copies of it. Our Soul Wardens and stuff being 3/3s, it's no joke later on in the game. So, yeah, play this. It's, again, astonishingly cheap. I thought it would be at least $3 or $4. But no, that's a fair price for this, and helps us out very well. I don't think the deck functions very well without this card, so definitely play this. More removal. Let's play 3 copies of Journey to Nowhere. A lot of decks will play 4 copies of Journey, but I'm playing 3 copies of Journey and 1 copy of Oblivion Ring. People are really split. There's a pretty good debate amongst these 2 cards, but if you play Modern, you know that already. Oblivion Ring seems to be the choice that people choose more often. Now, we are playing far fewer lands in this deck than we normally would in some other decks. But we can still get to Oblivion Ring pretty easily, and its versatility is very important for us to keep going and shut down some of the things in Modern that are really prevalent and really good. Which there's a lot of things in Modern that sort of outclass So a lot of our creatures, you know. But this takes care of Tarmogoyf, that's pretty awesome, and a lot of other problems. So both these cards I think have a place in the deck, but I'm definitely going heavier for Journey to Nowhere in this case. And one copy to finish off the spells here of Secure the Wastes. Now, this last slot is actually really flexible, and people do different things with it. Spear of Heliod is a thing I've seen a lot. Or a fourth, Mentor of the Meek. You know, there's a couple of things you could do here. But I do like the one copy of Secure, because late in the game, especially if we can secure for 4 or 5, something like that, then we can get a lot of life off of that. I mean, a lot of life. So, and Honor of the Pure goes really well with Secure the Waste as well. I should bring that up. So if we can get a big secure out, especially at the end of their turn, their combat step, something like that, then it's really good for us. Can't really spend too much time on the lands here. I mean, it's only 20 planes. We're playing 20 planes. You know, there's obviously things you could do if you had a couple of bucks, but you know, 20 planes will serve us just fine in this case. You'll see sometimes people want to play 19, some people want to play 21. I'm just splitting the difference here. Let's play 20 planes. Let's toss up the board here. I feel like this is pretty standard for the most part. Disenchant can definitely be replaced. God's Willing can probably be replaced. Everything else is fairly solid. So I do like this board. Let me know if you have any changes to suggest, because the board is fairly open in a few places. And finally, let's throw up the power rankings and the pros and cons. While I talk a little bit about this deck, well, you can see that it's a fairly consistent and very synergetic deck. I mean, it gets its synergy so often that it becomes consistent, but don't get me wrong, it can fall apart if you don't get, you know, your Pridemate or multiple copies of a Warden or an Attendant out there. It can really lose initiative fast. That's a big problem with this deck, is that it really doesn't care that much about initiative. It has a lot of board presence, but they will be playing better cards than you turns 2 through 5 or 6, you know, most of the time. So there is that to worry about, but we're really hoping that we can just take advantage of, you know, 2 to 4 life every turn. And, you know, that can really get out of hand very quickly. If you have Archangels of Thune, you definitely want to put that in this deck. That's a finisher, and the non-budget versions of the deck all play Archangel. They also all play Serra's Ascendant, which is not incredibly expensive, but a little too expensive for this, you know, $25 budget build. So I didn't include it. If you have these cards, along with Ranger of Eos, definitely include those. Some of these slots are pretty flex. You know, Mentor of the Meek, you can change that out for Ranger of Eos. Some of the spells you can take out and put in more of these, you know, premium creatures we want to play. And Whitemane Lion can even come out, and a copy of Suture Priest. So there's plenty of play in the deck, and if you have some of these better, more expensive cards, definitely play those and don't think twice. Because the non-budget version of Soul Sisters is actually a very popular, flexible, versatile deck in Modern, and has been for a few years now. So try out this budget build if you've always wanted to play Soul Sisters, if you think it's cool to just gain a ton of life off of efficient small creatures. I mean, people like doing that. It really likes coming up against aggro decks, because you more or less negate all the damage that they do to you, you know? And you can win attrition battles against them, because you've got fair amounts of removal in this deck. So it does a lot of things well, but obviously the top end is pretty bad. And it splits the difference, you know? It's a defensive deck with an aggro mindset. So yeah, we're going to try to do more modern stuff here, but I will do standard again. Let me know what you want to see more. I'm thinking of blue-white or just mono-white enchantments with magic origins. I think that could be really neat, if nothing else. I'm also thinking of a couple of standard decks here, specifically mono-red budget aggro. So, which I've been playing in this format for almost the entire format, so I know a thing or two about it, and it's only like 15, 20 bucks. So either one of those you want to see, let me know, and of course give me, you know, ideas for deck techs, and we'll totally think about that. So my name is Dev from SBMTG. Remember, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hitting the thumbs up button helps us a ridiculous amount. You would not understand how much that helps us grow, and we want to grow. I want to keep doing this. A lot of fun for me, and I hope it's fun for you. In any case, I'll see you guys next time. I'm Dev from SBMTG. As usual, thanks for watching, my wizards.